Have you ever wanted to see the past?
And the future at the same time.
Now you can in
Cris Tales. What is the genre of Cris Tales?
It's JRPG.
Very much.
Even though this is not a Japanese game, it is a
Colombian game.
Colombian game, but it is a
It is clearly
it is a tribute to
a tribute.
Japanese RPG games. So there is well, you go ahead.
There is a story.
First, there's a story.
In every JRPG, I've heard, there has to be a story. And in this story, you play Cris Bell, who is a nice little orphan girl who discovers that she has the magical ability to see the past and the future. Say it with me, everyone. At the same time. And you have to use this to save the world from the evil Time Queen. Or Time Witch. I forget now.
Yeah. If you look at the visuals, it's pretty. It's really pretty. It's like hand drawn. There's so many animations. And since it's all about present, past, and presence, and future, everything had to be done 3 times. Like the creators had to do all the characters 3 times. And there's a lot of nice animations, like intros. And there's it's pretty. It's really pretty, but it looks more like a fairy tale series, a movie series, than like a game.
I have to say, not to get into our opinions quite yet, but usually the very artistic, kind of over colorful style is not for me. It looks kind of overdone. But this, many times, I was looking at it thinking, that is really beautiful. It's a work of art. And as you said, they had to do it 3 times because as you're looking at things in the past and the future, it's quite impressive. Well, it's a very nice world to explore. Lots of interesting characters. Ooh, talk a lot. There's a lot of reading. So much.
But it is all dubbed, so there's a voiceovers.
All voice acted, which is really nice. Then there's the mechanics.
3 mechanics.
Mainly, I'm thinking of combat first.
Okay.
So combat is a big thing because you'll spend a lot of time in combat because the combat is really slow. Now, there's the interesting idea that you can use your time abilities to actually affect the enemies and move them from the past to the present. And, for example, like splash water on them and then move them into the future and it rusts.
But it's turn-based.
Yes. Very turn-based and quite slow. But we're going to get into that in just a minute.
Then it turns out into like more an adventure game where you go into the towns, talk with people, again, twist past and future to solve the riddles. And there's as well a map when you go outside of towns, like in those JRPG games when you have to go from one town to another.
Lots of interesting side quests in this also. Like they're everywhere and often with interesting relationships, and it has a real impact on the world. So it feels rewarding that you're actually affecting this world with your newfound powers and abilities. So aside from the main quest, you can finish this probably in 20 hours.
Yes.
But we have heard of people spending over 50 hours in it. So if it is your type of game, then there's actually quite a lot of content there. But the question is, should you play it? And before that, you should know that Cris Tale is actually completely free to claim on the Epic Games Store on the week of February 24th, 2022. So if you claim it this week, you get to keep it forever and play it whenever you want. And that's then the question of if it's worth your time. You should definitely claim it for free, but
should you play it? If I can go first.
Of course.
I think the Colombian creators took a really big bite because they say on their page that they were inspired by the timeless JRPGs like Chrono Trigger, Final Fantasy, Valkyrie Profile, a modern classic like Brave Default and Persona 5, and these are all big games. And developer of these games has really a lot of experience, but in this game you lack to see the experience. I think the best about it is the visuals. You can see a lot of work put into it. The dialogues, if you like that your game talks a lot, you will love this game. But I think there's, as we said, 3 parts of the game: turn-based, more of an adventure and map exploring. And all of 3 of these are not very done into the depth.
Not
so
fleshed out.
Yeah. So I think they really took too much of a big bite, and they tried to do too many things, and the result is it's very mediocre in every aspect. And I'm really looking into games that I would like to play, and since this game is medium only, I have to say no. I don't recommend to put your time on it unless unless
you really have to know what you're getting into. This might be the perfect genre for you. Yes, you, that gamer who likes nostalgic visual novels with beautiful pictures and kind of strange characters and annoying turn-based combat. You... If that sounds good to you, you're going to love this, because that's exactly what it is. But you need to know what you're getting into. And if any of those things kind of turn you off, and for me, I'm not a big one for playing visual novels. I read visual novels, but I don't particularly like to read my video games. I really personally do not like turn-based combat at all. That's why I'm surprised. You like turn-based combat. But this game shows everything that's kind of annoying about turn-based combat. It doesn't feel substantial. It feels limited. It gets very repetitive. The visuals are nice, but it is kind of restrictive. So I have to agree with you that it has a lot of potential in all those categories, but kind of ends up feeling a little bit empty in each one of them, except the visuals, which are nice. However, for me, not worth your time.
And it's really pity because the idea of the game is really interesting, that you can actually see the present, future and the past on one screen, and you can see the choices you make that affect really the world.
Yeah.
It's just such a pity that everything else is just done like... I mean, they spent a lot of time on it, but it was just too big to handle, I guess.
I completely agree. The mechanic is extremely interesting, and it's done well. This is done pretty well. It just, everything else feels too long and grinding. So.
As you said, like if there's a fan of JRPG or novels, I think it's better to play novel or JRPG rather than everything meshed up together.
We hope that was useful for you. Tell us your opinion down in the comments, and stay with us because we review every free game from the Epic Game Store and let you know what's worth your time. So if you don't want to be bored ever again, stay with Should You Play It.
And since this game is about past, I have this phone, Caleb, and this phone can read past. So let's check how many subscribers we had a year ago.
1 year ago.
It can show it, okay? It was
most phones
10,000 subscribers.
10,000 subscribers.
Ago. Yeah.
Well, you know what? I think I have a phone that tells us the future.
Okay.
And let's see. In 1 year in the future, we will have.
No.